What's up, everybody? We're here. Final week of the season. Week 14. And, dude, 10 teams in the running for 8 spots. There's a lot to unravel here, so let's jump into last week. And I'm gonna tell you, so I was on vacation last week. I was in the Bahamas, and coming down to that Monday night game, and I'm down by I think like 18 points. I'm like, all right, I need Brady to do his thing, and I got the win, and I need to win this week because if I don't win, man, my playoffs, I mean, it just really, really takes a big bad hit, and I may be done for the season. Problem is, I can't get the game out there. Apparently, due to international rules, I tried to go on the app. It wouldn't allow me to stream the game because I wasn't in the United States. Somehow, somewhere, I'm able to get part of the game, and I'm watching the second quarter, and man, it just does not look good for the Bucks. Brady's not doing anything. He finally freaking throws a pick right before the half, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I lost. I went to bed. I was defeated. I'm like, all right, listen, you know what? This is good. Wake up Tuesday morning. Tuesday was my birthday, and what a birthday surprise, man. I look at my phone and I see that I pulled out a 3-point win. Dude, let me just tell you, I didn't expect it. I thought I was done. I thought I lost. Apparently, from what I saw from the highlights, Brady throws 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game, puts me over the top. Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, beats Bad Boys 131-128 to save my season. Thank you. Thank you, Brady. I go to 7-6. Eddie drops down to 7-6. Whew. And listen, I mean, for Eddie, it sucks. Garoppolo got hurt, done probably for the year, and that was pretty much, I mean, that's what saved me. He only had 2 points. Next matchup, Flying Buffalo Wings, Steel Curtain, and Alex ending Ariel's season with a 181-123 victory. Man, Allen and Hurts going off for 67 points. Lamar Jackson gets hurt. He has 1 point. Alex goes to 9-4, still vying for that top spot. And Steel Curtain 13, done for the season, 5-8. There's still the Constellation Tournament. Winner of that gets the top pick in next year's draft. And again, the prize, Josh Allen. Next matchup, Ridley's Believe It or Not against Team 8000. And Marty, the defending champs, with the 186-116 trouncing. Man, the Browns, 68 points, the Browns. St. Brown and Brown for Philly. 2 wide receivers just going off 68 points. Marco got a half a point from his QB. Half a point. Marty goes up to 7-6. Marco drops down to 6-7. And looking over the numbers, I think Marco may be done. I don't think there's any way he can come out into the playoffs, but we'll talk about that in a few. Next matchup, Ojo Meister against Bushwick Hitman. 2 teams on either side of the spectrum, and talk about a low-scoring affair. But Cuzzo pulling off the 87-64 victory. Man, Bubba, when your second highest scoring team is the New York Giants defense, and it was only 12 points, it's a bad week. Daniel Jones, on the other hand, goes off for 20. Ojo Meister keeps the top spot at 9-4. Bushwick Hitman rounding out the basement at 2-11. Next matchup, Brooklyn Giants, Team Deal. And man, Will ending Danny's season 133-109. 41 points from his wide receiver position. Danny only got 8 out of his. And man, that's the difference. Pulls off the 24-point victory. Will's now 8-5 in the playoffs. And we have Team Deal, who has been eliminated. Next matchup, Gotham Knights, Frank's Jets. Very important matchup. 2 teams, to think of it. And Terry pulls off the 153-91 victory for his 5th win in a row. This was a team who was 2-6. 2-6, and has ruled off 5 straight wins and is at the cusp of getting in. Why? The Browns defense, 36 points. That's insane. Man, for Frank, you had Wilson, Knox, Sutton, Pittman, and Henry combined for 9 points. 9 points. 5 guys, 9 points. It was a shellacking. Terry goes up to 7-6. Frank drops to 7-6. And in the final matchup, we have Legendary Giant against Colin Kaepernick, and won with the 150-113 victory. Won another team that's hot, 4 wins in a row. And his combination of Mahomes and Burrow, who, let me tell you, in the playoffs is going to be a hard team to beat, goes off for 60 points. Jordan, his QB combo, only goes for 44. And then, we're just going to look at the standings right now. In the top spot, Ojo Meister at 9-4 has won 4 in a row, holding on tight to that top spot. And remember, it's important because the top spot gets their buy-in back, $25. So whoever wins that top spot gets that money. Flying Buffalo Wing tied at 9-4 with Ojo Meister, but Ojo Meister has the tiebreaker against Alex, and that's why he's on top. Right behind them, we have Brooklyn Giants at 8-5, followed by Legendary Giant at 8-5 in the 4th spot. And then we have 5 teams rounding out 5 through 9. Bad Boys currently in the 5th spot at 7-6. Ridley's, believe it or not, in the 6th spot at 7-6. Frank's Jets in the 7th spot. Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP in that 8th playoff spot. And then on the outside looking in, Gotham Knights at 7-6. Marco drops down to the 10th spot at 6-7. So let's see what's at stake this week. I was looking at the top 4 teams to see who can get that top spot. And if I'm accurate, again, don't hold me to this, disclaimer, because I don't know how NFL.com ranks it, but I'm looking based on matchups and points. This is how I see it. If Ojo Meister wins, he gets the top spot. There's nothing that can be chased about that. However, if he loses and Alex wins, Alex is the top spot. And he wins. If Ojo Meister and Flying Buffalo Wings both lose, I do believe that if one wins, Legendary Giant, he gets the top spot. And the reason for this is because he has beaten both teams. I was looking over the stats, looking over whatever, and he beats both teams. So he then will be the top spot. Brooklyn Giants, I don't think there's any way they can get it because they're 1-2 against the other team. So if it was a tiebreaker, like if they went in, if Brooklyn Giants went in, tied with Ojo Meister and with Flying Buffalo Wings, all the matchups stay the same. Ojo Meister will end up still being the top spot. So I guess from my point, from looking at it, Juan, Alex, and Ojo all have a chance for that top spot. Now let's go to the playoff spots, and this gets crazy. So I was looking at all the different variables, looking at the people's records, right? Now, Bad Boys, Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, really, believe it or not, Frank's Jets, Gotham Knights, and Team 8000. All these teams had the potential chance to go to 7-7. Looking at the way the matchups go, there could be a lot of ties there. Bad Boys is 3-2 against that group. Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, really, believe it or not, and Frank's Jets, all 3-2 against those other groups. And that's probably why Terry's on the outside looking in, because he's 2-3 against the other teams. So if everything plays out the way it is, it's going to come to the Gotham Knights, who lost to Bad Boy. So even if Bad Boy loses, Gotham Knights gets in, it will still be Bad Boys who advance. If I lose and Gotham Knights wins, that will be interesting, because then there may be a chance that they leapfrog me since they have the tiebreaker against me. That all being said, every team controls their own destiny except for Gotham Knights and then Team 8000. Those 2 teams are going to need a win, and they're going to need help. So good luck to everybody as this week plays out. And let's look at the matchups this week. We have Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, with the rematch last week against Bad Boys. I won the first matchup 131-128. Right now, is 0-0. Neither team has played anyone yet. Next matchup, Legendary Giant and Colin Kaepernick. Right now, Juan's playing for that potential top spot if the other top two teams lose. They won the first matchup last week also, 150 to 113. As of now, nobody has a point. Next matchup, Flying Buffalo Wings, Gotham Knights. And this is a huge game. And it's a huge game because for Alex, he's trying to win and hope Ojo loses to get that top spot. And for Terry, he's trying to get into the playoffs. If he loses, he's pretty much eliminated. He's done. They first met in week 11, where Gotham Knights actually got the win 148-115. Right now, Flying Buffalo Wings is up 19-12. Alex has used one guy. Terry has already used two. So Terry has, he's behind a little bit right now. Next matchup, Frank's Jets, Brooklyn Giants. And right now, Frank is just playing for his playoff life. Will's already in the playoffs. Frank needs a win because a loss here, and again, I don't know how it would play out. Frank did lose to Gotham Knights and to Release, believe it or not. So if he did lose and Gotham Knights won, would Gotham Knights have the tiebreaker and knock Frank out the playoffs? Quite possible. Right now, it's 0-0, neither team. Back in week 7, Brooklyn Giants killed Frank's Jets 184-130. Next matchup, the two new teams from last year, Ridley's, believe it or not, against Ojo Meister. And last year, it was Ojo Meister. This year, in week 3, wow, beginning of the season, it was Ojo Meister with the 150-106 victory. Ojo Meister right now is playing for the top spot. If he wins, he gets it. He wins money. For the defending champs, they're looking to stay in the playoff hunt. If they lose, like I said, you want to go in a matchup where they lost to me and they lost to Bad Boys. So it comes down to a playoff thing between us three. We're tied. The last thing Marty wants is to get knocked down the outside looking in. Right now, Ojo Meister is up 12-0, but Ojo has also used two people already. Next matchup, Team Dale Bushwick Hitmen, and right now this is just playoff positioning into the consolidation bracket. Top two teams do get a bye in that, so I guess Danny is pushing for that. Right now it's 0-0. Back in week 11, it was Team Deal with the 131-123 victory. And then the final matchup is M-Team 8000 against Steel Curtain. And like I said, right now Ariel is just positioning for the consolation prize. Marco is fighting for dear life to make it into the playoffs. He needs a lot of help. Back in week 5, it was Marco with the 133-85 victory. Right now, Marco is currently up 10-0 with one person down. So, man, this is it, man. Last week of the regular season. And like I said, we got a lot of teams jockeying for positioning. And you got the top 3-4 teams jockeying for that top spot. You got the next teams jockeying for the playoff spot. It's going to be a fun, interesting week, man. Good luck to everybody. How about the Mets, man? Let me just tell you, you guys know how much of a diehard Met fan I am. Listen, last year when we got Scherzer and we got Marte and Escobar, I was like, wow, look at the Mets making moves. Pretty good. I like this. We're actually spending and building good character guys into this clubhouse. Dude, this year, whew, so it's funny, man. I go on vacay. Boom, DeGrom. Both to Texas with that bullshit press conference talking about, I want to come to Texas and help to win the World Series. But stop it. You went over there for the money. Be real about it. You went over there for the money. It wasn't to win no World Series, because if you wanted to win a World Series, you would have stayed here. Because look what the Mets did after you left. Justin Verlander, Jose Quintana, re-signed Nemo, which I'm going to tell you, I've always, in the last few years, I've been saying that Nemo reminds me of a Hunter Pence type player. And if you don't think that's valuable, look at the San Francisco Giants and their World Series runs when Pence was on that team, when he was with the Astros, that guy who could be that spark plug. And I think that's what Nemo can be for this, continue to be for this Met team. And then, Senga, I don't know if I pronounced his name right, the Japanese import who has a deadly splitter, who they say has the potential to be an ace. And guess what? On this team, you don't need to be an ace because you got Verlander and Scherzer 1-2. And then you got Quintana, Senga, David Robinson. I forgot about David Robinson. We got a setup guy for Diaz. Really? To trade a lefty, a reliable lefty in the bullpen. I'm looking at this Mets team like, holy crap. This is how much it felt like for Yankee fans all these years. When it's like, oh, look at this guy. We need this. We need a full team. Oh, we'll just sign him. We'll just give him money. And what's great, people don't realize, the Mets did all these acquisitions without having to give up a draft pick because none of them had the qualifying offer attached. And that's big because the Mets' long-term plan is spend high now, build up your farm system. And soon you let your farm system fill those spots. And if you look at the Mets right now, because listen, yes, they need a power bat. And if they can get one, great. Listen, if they get Carrera, I think I'm going to faint because I don't know what to do with myself if they get that. I don't think it's necessary, but if they did, holy crap. That all being said, you've got your starting five rotation, which is better than last year's rotation. Because people think, oh, DeGrom. DeGrom wasn't here for most of last year. DeGrom was 6-5 in his starts. The Mets were 6-5 last year. And down the stretch, they choked. Bassett choked twice, and that's why Bassett didn't get re-signed. Because he choked in the Atlanta series, and he choked in the playoffs. And DeGrom choked in the Atlanta series. But that all being said, the rotation's better. You got a starter in Verlander who can go 6+ innings. Guy was a Cy Young 1.75 ERA last year, but all his age. The thing is, one, he was injured for 2 years, so he had less wear and tear in his arm. And he reminds me of a Nolan Ryan type, where it's just his body allows him to pitch the way he pitches. He doesn't need to pitch 100 miles per hour to be effective. You got Quintana, a lefty, which we needed. We needed a lefty in that rotation who, if you look at his numbers, are actually really good. And especially with St. Louis last year. During that run when St. Louis had a 2 ERA, man, I'm looking at this Met team and holy crap. Our bullpen's better. Our rotation's better. And our lineup, like, oh, the big bat. We also got to forget this year now. We got 2 new key pieces that we can throw in there. Beatty and Alvarez. You want that big bat. Alvarez is shown in everything. He just needs a month to acclimate. Could you imagine Alvarez hitting those bombs behind Alonso? And listen, you want to take a flyer, you could take Conforto. That's a flyer if you want a 1-year deal. But I'm very excited right now as a Met fan because holy crap, we went out and we got things that we needed. So thank you, Uncle Stevie. Thank you so much for opening up your wallet and making this Met team going to be a beautiful Met team that's going to compete next year. All right, you guys have a good week. I went on my rant long enough, but do you understand? This week as a Met fan has been amazing. You guys have a good week. Good luck to all those teams out there vying for those last spots. Good luck to the teams for that top spot. We'll talk next week.